Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. This is day 3 of me uploading a video. And if you're new to this channel, my name is Yair, and I opened this channel in order to share with you guys my value and hopefully help you guys in any way, even the smallest way, the same that it helps me. Okay, so today I want to talk about learning to accept and absorb compliments that you get. It can be about anything. And that connects directly to your self-esteem, to your confidence. So I'll start with a story about myself. How did it affect me, and how did I found myself in a position where I needed to learn how to accept and absorb compliments that I got from other people. So growing up, since I can remember myself, I have two loving parents that always gave me compliments, that always told me how good of a child I am, how great of a person I am, how great is my personality. I play guitar, so they always told me, yeah, you're the best guitar player. Essentially, growing up, I was the best at everything in their eyes, which is, of course, great because they're my parents, right? And in school, I remember I used to going into fights or whatever, and doing problems to the teachers, and all the time all my parents would say is like, that's okay, you're gorgeous and you're a good kid or whatever. And I remember going with my dad one time to parents day at school, and the teacher was like, your son is just how do you say it, hey, I cannot go through the lesson because your son is so I'm looking at that word in English. Anyway, you got my idea. You got my point. Your son is so his behavior is not allowing me to go through the lesson. Anyway, you got my point. And I remember my dad just looking at the teacher and smiling and looking at me and say, "Yeah, but look how gorgeous this kid is." Kind of like, pass it off. And it's all good, but the thing is, if you tell a kid growing up all the time how good he is and how great his personality is and how he's the best in the world at everything, eventually I grew up. Now I'm 27, but I came into my 20s thinking that it is true. And then once I left my parents' house, I meet more people, besides my group of friends and whatever. I start a new job. I meet a lot of people from a lot of places, start my studies. Then I suddenly realized that this is not the case. Suddenly you realize that you might not be always the best as you were told you are, and you might not be, in my case, the best guitar player, or you might not have the great personality all the time, or in general, the best personality, or as great as you were told. Some people look at you that way, some people look at you that way. And I'm not saying you need to care about how people look at you, but my point is that the feedback you used to get is not the same feedback that you are getting now. And if you hear all the time, if you get all the time a certain feedback growing up, then you get used to it. Everything you're going to say to a child, long enough, he's going to believe you. Everything. So that was me growing up. And then I realized that it's not the case. And that created a very big fear in me. Created a very big fear that people will discover the bluff, if you will. The bluff that my personality is not as great as I was told, or maybe I'm not as good of a guitar player, or maybe I'm not as good of a person. And that is expressed by, sorry, and that is expressed by me when I'm meeting new people, for example, it might take a second for me, or very hard time. I'll have a very hard time connecting to them fully and show them my true personality, because I'm afraid they will discover that I'm not as great as I was told I was. Or when I'm playing music with new musicians that are really good musicians, I might have hard time to, play with them and connect with them musically, because I'm afraid that they will discover that I'm not the best guitar player as I was told I was. Although I know my worth, I know I'm a good guitar player, I know I'm a good person, I know my worth. And that's the fear that it created in me. And it expressed even in relationships as well, in a lot of social situations. So yeah, so that was my case. And the way to overcome that, the way I overcame that, and I still do, as I told you last or two videos ago, everything is a daily work. Whoever told you otherwise is just lying. But the way that I overcome it is I learned how to accept and absorb compliments that I get. Also, another thing that it used to be expressed by is I would get compliments about my playing, about me being a nice person, whatever, and I would just I would look at the person like, what are you talking about? That's I appreciate it, but this is not true. So the way to not shrink yourself and to bring your self-esteem up is by, let's say someone give you a compliment about anything, it can be anything, about the way you look, about damn, it can be about the way you look, about the way you play, about the way you cook, about the way you dance, about the way you make jokes, everything. If you get a compliment, just say thank you, I appreciate it, and try to accept it fully into your heart and add it into your self-worth, self-esteem. And then what happens is that you're not shrinking yourself anymore like you used to. And time after time, you start to notice that because you add those compliments and you truly believe them and you're not shrinking them or pushing them away, your inner space start to fill itself up. Your self-esteem starts to grow. It's almost like you kind of start believing that you are those things, but you really are those things. It's not about believing or not believing. You are those things. It's just about understanding that and accepting that and absorbing that. Next time someone tells you look good, maybe you started to exercise, maybe you start to notice more of the way you look. I don't know. Someone tells you a compliment about it, just accept it. You are looking good. That's the way he sees it, and the person wouldn't just tell you a compliment just for nothing. Let's say in my case, I could talk about playing guitar, for example. If someone tells me I'm a good guitar player, then I will say, I used to say, what you talking about? Nah, that's not true, But today I say, okay, thank you. I know I'm a good guitar player, and probably if you gave me that compliment, then it is true, because in your eyes, I am a good guitar player. I take it in, I add it to my value. Tomorrow I will wake up with an extra value of myself, with an extra added value in my self-esteem. If someone tells you your food tastes amazing, don't shy away. You cooked a beautiful meal. Don't shy away. Nah, that's nothing. Say thank you. I worked hard for it. And I appreciate you seeing how good this meal is. Thank you. Same goes for anything. For anything. Can be everything. So try to think of those things. Learn to absorb and accept compliments. Because then what will happen is day by day you will notice how you start growing, you start believing. It's not about believing, but you start believing yourself, saying that I am worth. I know my worth and I am worth a lot. And I am a good person. I am a good guitar player. I am a good cooker. I am a good dancer. I am a good programmer, whatever, you know. And you don't have to be the best. You might not be. You actually most likely not gonna be the best as you were told you was growing up, like me. You know, I accept it. You don't have to be the best, and you know, very few people are the best, you know, at what they do. Especially like you cannot be the best at everything, you know, that's for sure. So just start learning to accept those compliments from your mom, from your dad, from your brother, from your friend, from your teacher, from random persons you see, you know. Learn to accept and absorb compliments. Don't shy away from them. Accept your value and know your worth. And that way you can, little by little, raise your self-esteem up to the sky. That's what happened to me. And again, remember, it's a daily work. Remember that. And I think that's it. That's what I wanted to talk about today before I start my day. And I guess the one tip for me to you will be, next time someone gives you a compliment, try to remember this video. Stop for a second. Before you react, try to think, oh, what was my reaction was about to be, what my reaction was about to be. And if it's not saying thank you, I appreciate it, and truly accept it, then change it. That's the moment where you change. There is a situation, you got a compliment, you stop, you observe, and you act in order to change it. Yeah. So that's my point for today. That's the video. Thank you for watching. And if you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe. I'm trying to upload one of these every day before I start my day, mostly, and maybe sometimes late at evening. But every day, free value and free thoughts, food for thought. Yeah, so thank you and have a good day.